Good evening, everyone. This is Lilian here, author of my book, Women of Courage, Breaking the Fear Barrier. And starting from this month, I'm going to share with you, one practical tip from the stories inside my book. Okay, so for Vivien, she has a very, very powerful story for this episode. The title, Your Past is not your future. In fact, your past actually will prepare you for your future. I'm not going to share the whole entire story. You can read about her story from my book, but I'm going to pick out certain things that I think that you can relate to, and the tips that just one tip that she gave to empower you. So maybe you have been unfairly treated before. Maybe you have felt very controlled by situations or events or even people in your life. And you are constantly living under this constant fear. And that you are not to speak unless you are spoken. If you have grown up in an environment or family where you can only speak unless you are spoken. Okay, so maybe you also can relate to these emotions of having a lot of pent-up emotions because you've been suppressing all your emotions, bottling up, not being able to share, not able to voice out. Now I'm just quoting some of these emotions and some of these emotions that or mindset that you have, that you are able to relate, because her story is going to inspire you. Her story is one that you can connect with. Maybe you were heavily addicted to something, a very habitual addiction that you can't break through, you can't break forth. It's like a bondage. Maybe that's something that you are facing, because that's what she had faced before as well. But the thing is, she came to an awareness. She came to a point where she gained awareness of her condition, of all these things, all these emotions and thoughts that I've just mentioned earlier. When you became aware about all this and you are willing to reach out for that support to help you, that is the very first step to overcome whatever situations that you are in the area of addiction, be it in the area of your emotional imprisonment or the invisible mind prison that is in your mind. So maybe you felt utter shame. Maybe you felt shameful about your past. Maybe you only saw darkness in your future because you are living in shame. You can only see darkness in your future. These are some of the emotions and mindset that she struggled with. Okay, but I'm sharing from her point of a position of breakthrough. How did she overcome all that, and what nugget of advice or what nugget of wisdom did Vivien give us? Okay, of course her time of her recovery took time. It's not an overnight thing. So please remember, if you have a long history of past struggles, emotional struggles, and a negative mindset that you're struggling with, an addiction that you're struggling with, it does take time in the journey of your recovery. Okay, the good news is she got out of it, and so can you, right? What else did she share? The recovery took time, and she also struggled with severe depression, anxiety attacks, suicidal thoughts, and even got to the point where she had to seek psychiatric help. So if you can identify with all this, read about her story. Read her story to inspire you and empower you. I highlighted quite a number of things, so just want to share a little bit more with you. She said that although this was a journey she had to go through alone, she wouldn't have been able to get through without the concern, the love, the patience, and the guidance of her friends. They were her glimmer of light in the darkness that constantly threatened to overcome her. If you are in this journey, in this state where you are constantly tormented by darkness, tormented by your addiction, tormented by all this shame and you know, this mixture of emotions that you couldn't have any control, reach out for support. Reach out for support before it's too late. Okay? It takes a lot of courage for her to be open, and because it's very vulnerable to share all these details in the book. But she took courage to share all that because she says that if it could help someone, then it is worth it. So, you know, not only for Vivien herself, but if you have a story, that can help someone, even if it's just help one person, are you willing to take that courage and be vulnerable enough to share your story, to inspire and empower someone with just one nugget of wisdom, one nugget of advice, one tip, just one tip? All right? So to cut the story short, you know, she did not look at herself as a victim, but she took responsibility of her past action, because whatever is in the past is in the past. You had made it happen. You have made the choice. So you are going through the results, the consequences of it. But she say here again, our past does not define us. What defines us is what we do with our future and how you choose to live your life for now. So no matter how messed up you were or how horrible a person you were in the past, it's never too late to change. It's never too late to change. I'm reading from her quote given by Vivien Yap, one of the women of courage in my book, one of the women that I interviewed in my book. And if you want to meet her personally, you know, we are having a empowering session on the 23rd of April. You can click on my link, www.womenofcourage.asia, to find out more details, to meet Vivien personally in person. Okay, so I am inviting various women to come and share their stories to empower you and inspire you. Okay, so for the upcoming weeks that I'm coming online, I'm going to share with you one tip per week from my book. Okay, so if you want to get the full story, you want to read about all the different stories in my book, you can click on the link, a Women of Courage book, to purchase a copy, and part of the proceed will go to donate to the School of Mercy. It's a school at the border of Thailand and Myanmar, where a lot of women and children are being trafficked, enslaved and exploited. Okay, so the reason I'm writing this book is to empower as many women as possible. So this book, there's only 23 stories, but I would love to hear your story as well. So email to me at hello@womenofcourage.asia. Okay, write to me. I would love to hear your stories and share one tip, one nugget, one practical insights or tools that you can empower and inspire other women. And I will share your story. Okay, share with me and I'll share your stories in my Facebook Live. All right, so I hope what I've shared with you is of value to you. Do connect with me, reach out to me. If you want to meet me in person to have a dose of courage and clarity, you want to see results in your life, you want to take at least one step forward, book my time. I've also included a link, where you can have a clarity call with me. Okay, so that's all for tonight's sharing. I hope it is of value to you, and I will look forward to see you next Monday.